So we're going to go ahead and get started. I want to welcome all of you tonight, and I appreciate you tuning in, and I hope you've brought some ideas and questions and things to talk about. So I just want to introduce myself. I'm Lillian Booth, the California State Grange Secretary, and we have some new people on tonight, and this is a conversation. I'm going to introduce a few things, and then we're going to talk about them. Please ask questions as we go along. I don't save questions to the end. And but we also want to talk about some new ideas and some new ways to do things. I'd like to make this as easy as possible on the Grange Secretaries, and sometimes the process seems a little overwhelming. Somebody has their news on in the background. Can you mute that out? Thank you. Okay. So Grange Secretaries, some people think that we're like Athena. We're born, have I frozen again? Okay. I'm hoping that my network will stay stable. We'll see how this goes. Okay. Well, what I was saying is sometimes people think that Grange Secretaries are like Athena. They're born with all the knowledge and ready to go to war and have all their tools. But Grange Secretaries are essentially, we learn step by step. And I wanted to concentrate this roundtable on the Grange Secretaries and go through some information that is going to be essentially long-term knowledge for some and short-term knowledge for others. But the biggest thing I want to get out of the conversation tonight is ideas on how to make your job easier. So I'm going to share my screen here and go over a few things with you.
Hello?
Okay. All right, the Grange Secretary. And essentially, this is how the magic happens. In the old manual, the first line of the Secretary's charge was, "Your job is the most arduous of all." But in the new manual, it's, "Your job is the most important of all," because we get to talk to all the members. We get to chat with them, talk with them on the phone, email them, answer questions, and really have a lot of fun with the job, which is my favorite part. I get to visit with people and learn about them and where they're from and what they do. And so we're going to talk a little bit about how the magic happens. There are several types of membership. One is the fraternal individual. One is family. There's Golden Sheaf, which confuses a lot of people. There's the affiliate, the associate, and the junior 1+. So we're going to go through these one by one. So a fraternal individual is any person who is 14 years of age. They can also join at 13 years and 6 months or more. Every person 14 years and up has a voice and a vote in the Grange. And that's unusual because when the Grange was founded, they realized that young men and women of 14 years of age were actually doing the same work as what was considered adults. So they were adults, and that tradition has continued in the Grange. And they pay individual dues. In California, the base dues are $30 per year. There's $14 paid to national and $16 to the state. So it's a total of $30. Community Granges can set their own dues above that. And so some Granges will say in their bylaws, it might say $8 above whatever is set by state and national. So they never have to go back and change their bylaws. Others say it's $50 and that's their dues. So anything above the $30 stays with the Grange on the community level and becomes part of your budget. Some only charge $35 and some only charge $30. So it's up to your membership how those dues are set. And then there's family membership. Family membership consists of a couple and their dependents, or a single person and their dependents. And dependents are children or grandchildren, anyone who is a legal dependent of the adult. So you can have, mom and, it might be a single mom who has two of her biological children, maybe two foster children. They are all a family. And in our case, our youngest daughter, Kaylin, is special needs. So she's a dependent adult. She is part of the family. And it's a member of the same household. The exceptions are if there's illness, if they're away at college for education, or if they are in the military. So they're still considered a member of the Grange and a member of the household. So that qualifies as a family membership. Now the dues for family membership is twice the individual dues. This pays for all of the members in the family. So if there's mom and two teenagers in the home, then you only pay for two. The third one is not counted in the dues, but they are a member. So if your dues are $30 per member, then family membership is $60. Any questions on that so far? Okay. Sometimes that's been kind of a concept that's been a little bit difficult to understand. And I just want to make sure that that is a concept that you are grasping. What we do on the quarterly report is we report the number of families. So you might have 5 families. So you put down 5 families, but in that 5, there's 25 members because each family might have 5 people. So you put down the number of families, that's what you pay the dues on. And then under that is the line for the family members. And that's where you would put the 25, but you're not multiplying that by any specific number. It's only the number of families. Okay.
Lillian?
Yes.
This is
Hi, Jeff.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Wonderful. We have a question. So a couple with no dependents is not a family.
According to the National Grange Digest at this time, so you would put them as 2 individual members. We've tried to get a resolution passed a couple of times from California that says a family is 2 or more instead of 3 or more. So we're going to be submitting it again to National next year and helping them understand that my husband and I, after 43 years together, we're a family. It only makes sense. When they first brought this in, it was very convoluted how they figured everything out, and we've simplified it. But we need to say a family is a family. This is a family organization. So we will be working hard at National next year to get that passed. And I don't know, it might be in the packet this year from a different state. So if it is, we're going to be pushing for that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else with a question? This is what I like about the Grange, is that we can change the rules. We use the system and we can change the rules. So this is one thing. I agree, Jeff and Soraya, we need to change that one. Okay. Okay. Golden Sheaf. This is another type of membership, and this recognizes the members of 50 years or more. And in the National Digest, there's two different classes for Golden Sheaf. One is Golden Sheaf before, which is exempt from paying dues, and one is Gold Sheaf after, which still pays dues. And the way it works is members who've reached 50 years of continuous membership before January 1 of 2001, no dues are paid to National Grange or to the State Grange. If they are a Gold Sheaf after, and that's those who reach 50 years of continuous service after January 1 of 2001, in California, only the National Grange dues are paid. California waives the dues for our Gold Sheaf members. So only the $14 is collected for those members. Now, there are some Granges who, because of the continuous membership and the service that they've given, they don't charge their member those dues, but they still pay the State Grange the $14. And so that is up to each Grange to do that. In California, we decided that if they've given 50 years of service, we're not going to charge the Grange the state portion. So any questions on that one?
The $14 is like a one-time, once a year?
Right, it's once a year. National
Okay.
dues are $14 per year.
Okay,
And so you would be paying the $14. You pay it over, when you pay by the quarter, it's $3.50 per quarter.
oh, okay.
Okay. So any other questions about that? Okay, I don't want to go too fast. I don't want to go too slow, but we'll work our way through this. Okay. And then there's affiliate members. Members wanted to be, okay, shh, Caitlin, go ahead. Members wanted to be members of different Granges in their own states many, many years ago. And it got a little overwhelming as to how many Granges that they were part of. So it came down to they could be a member of more than one community Grange at the same time, except you have to be an affiliate member, and you can only be an affiliate member of one Grange, not many Granges. And there's other discussion, there's other things in the bylaws about what offices you can hold and all that. But what it comes down to is you can be members of two Granges and you pay dues to both Granges. So if one Grange is charging 30 and one Grange is charging 50, then you are paying to both Granges. But in this way, a lot of Grange members wanted to support another Grange in their community. And I used to belong to Paradise Grange, and I was an affiliate at Wyandotte. And then after some things changed, we were no longer members with Paradise, we're just members at Wyandotte. And now Chico Grange is getting reorganized, so we will be affiliate members at Chico Grange. And so it's our way of helping and supporting. Okay. Then there's the associate member. The associate member is a person or a business that wants to be part of the Grange, but they don't want to be a voting member. And each state can provide in their bylaws to have associate membership. So California provides for associate membership. And Orangevale Grange at one time had Friends of the Orangevale Library and a couple of other businesses that they had, and they're supportive. They just they want to say, we are associated, we support this Grange. And they pay the dues set by the Grange above the minimum for state and national. So some Granges charge double what their dues are. So maybe their dues are $60 a year per individual member, and they would charge associates $120. So that dues amount is based on what the Grange has set. And Orangevale charges $50. And what you can do for your associate members is, if you're doing an event and they have donated something, then you can put, here's our associate members who have donated, and here's other businesses that have donated. But you give them a little more, because they're supporting your organization. Oops, went the wrong way. Junior 1+ members. These are minor children between the ages of 5 and 14, and they can be elected an individual junior member of a community Grange. For many, many, many years, there has been the Junior Grange, and it was a chartered entity on its own, and you had to have a minimum of 13 children to start a Junior Grange. They had their own opening ceremonies, their own, they run their own business and everything else. But what we found in California, we no longer charter Junior Granges because there are corporate requirements for any entity holding a charter. And so the National Grange actually had set up an independent membership for juniors for these children ages 5 to 14. And what this does, it makes them eligible for the Junior Grange contest. They can participate in any level of the Grange. They're not a voting member, but they can shadow, like they can be mentored as to what the officers do. They can help. They are Grange members. And we coined the term Junior 1+, because if we want to build a Junior Grange, you can build it one by one. You don't have to wait for the 13 in order to have that program going. So it's, like I said, in California, there's so much corporate stuff that goes with a charter. We elected no longer to charter Junior Granges. And we have, I'm sorry, does somebody have a question?
No, I'm just trying to print this out.
Okay. This
So
is
I can-
also being recorded, and I'm going to post it on the YouTube channel. I will also post this actual PowerPoint on there, so you can download it and use it as you would like.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So in California, we have a running, it's not a running joke. It's a term that we actually have more Junior 1+ members than we have Golden Sheaf in California. Our membership is getting younger. And it's really nice to be able to have that. The Junior Grange would operate as a committee. So if you have 4 or 5, they would be a separate committee. They would be a junior committee. And a lot of our families that we have in California are part of the Grange Youth Fair program. And that is a committee that the participants go from age 5 to 19, or whenever they age out of fair exhibitions, and they act as a committee within the Grange. And then we have our under 5s, which we call mini members, but they aren't listed anywhere else, but we call them minis. But the Grange is a family organization. All of the family members are welcome anytime. Okay. Any questions on that part? Okay. So then we have the quarterly reports. And for national, we track each one of these memberships and membership types. And what it comes down to is we report quarterly. And this was set up eons ago, because that way it wasn't a financial burden on the family to, if they wanted to pay their dues quarterly, they could. And it's never been changed to just a one time. So one of my questions is, I have some Granges right now who pay everything at the beginning of the year. They pay all the dues at the beginning of the year. And then as they get new members in, they pay just that portion. So the question to you is, do you prefer the quarterly report? Would you prefer to do it once a year? Twice a year? What are your thoughts? Sue?
I like the quarterly reports because sometimes our membership changes.
Okay.
Mhm.
So they may change from a junior 1+ to fraternal.
Yes.
Okay.
Or we have some members who've passed away, and that would just make a difference in accounting.
True.
Or new members.
Lulu?
Yeah, we get new members too.
Mhm.
We've gotten a few in the last few months, so I gotta get busy.
And Sharon, do you have a comment?
I do, being brand new, my thought is to try and do it once a year, and then bring new people in. Prorated would be easier for me than trying to divide things up, 4 ways.
Mhm.
I think I'll start with that and see how it goes.
Okay.
Because
And
our
Martha?
membership's pretty small right now, probably compared to the other people that are on this.
Actually, you're about average.
Okay,
Yeah.
well,
So
we're definitely gonna grow.
Mhm.
We're growing.
it's great. I should introduce you all to Sharon at Rough and Ready. They just recently reorganized, came back into good standing, and we're really happy to have this group. And I love all of them. They are outspoken, they are rebels, and they want to find new ways to do things, and I'm good with that. So,
Well, I thought that was the spirit of the Grange.
you bet it is. It is.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
Martha,
And I
you got a
love
comment?
hearing that I'm in good standing. That is really affirming.
Definitely. We're happy to have you.
Great,
So,
thank you.
Martha and then Lynn Macklin.
Yeah, I'm sorry to be late. I just got back from town. I would say quarterly for us. And I have a question though. We have a person who just turned in an application. It's near the end of the year. We'll vote them in next month's meeting in November. I mean, really, is there any point in even collecting any money at this time of year? Or what does it do?
There really isn't, because you're supposed to bill your dues in November anyway. So
Yeah.
November, December is when you bill your dues. So if it was me, I would just charge them the 1 year, and that would be good.
For this coming year, not this current year.
Right, for 2022.
Right. Thank you. That's what we thought might make sense. Perfect.
Okay. Lynn Macklin?
Thank you.
I would think that it would be easier for State Grange if we did it quarterly so that the changes would come through. And if you have corrections, or we had a change of secretary this last year, you can make those corrections and adjust your membership. Then you have ones that pass away or come in. It might be easier to keep account of your membership unless not much happens.
Mhm. And that's hard to say right now, as to what's going to happen, because we have a lot of families that are seeking out the Grange right now. And we have one group in the Central Valley that there's 80 kids plus parents that want to participate in the Grange and the Grange Youth Fair program. So we are getting an influx of families. So don't be surprised if you get some phone calls and say, we've got some groups that want to come in and join with you. But for those of you who would like to try to do it on just the annual basis, and then you still file a quarterly report, but it's only for the differences. So if you lose a member, then there would be a credit to the Grange. And if you increased your membership, then you would just pay those differences on the quarterly basis. So there's ways to do that. We have, like I said, we have 2 Granges right now that are doing it on the annual, and they file the quarterly report, but we just worry about the difference in the accounting. And the other thing that we have on our website is something called the Fast Start form. And it's in the membership, it's in the members portion for Grange forms. And if you get a new member in January, they're not reported to us until March on the quarterly report form, and that may not be until April. So you have them with no contact from the state Grange for almost 4 months. And what we'd like to do is on that Fast Start form, you fill out their information, and then we would turn around and send out this is something new, we're sending out a new member packet along with their membership card. So that would be sent directly to the member, welcoming them to the Grange. I would get them on the email list, so they now start getting the emails from the state Grange and whatever other publications, announcements, and everything else that's going on. And some members don't come back for a second meeting for whatever reason, and they may not get their membership card. But this way, they're getting all of that in one packet with a letter from the state Grange welcoming them as members of the Grange. So I'm going to send that link out to everyone so you can get directly to that form.
And Lillian, would that be, for example, every quarter that would work that way, not just in January? In other words, if somebody joined in, April, I guess would be the next one, and so go on throughout the year then?
Every meeting that you have new members come in, you can add them on that Fast Start form. That way there's no waiting for them to be included in the state Grange emails and the information that's going out. So we're going to have the new member packet ready in January, and that's when I'm going to start all that.
Okay, I have a
And what-
question.
Yes, Vicki.
Okay, so we're talking about adding a new member, say this close to the end of the year, but we still have 1 quarter left.
Mhm.
What we have always done is just had them pay, like, broke down per quarter.
Mhm.
So we're not, if we claim them, we're going to have to pay for them. So we just ask for, how it's divided up. We ask for some money for the last quarter.
Right, you would just ask for the $750.
I was going to
And
say, is
add
that
it to their
wrong?
next
That's
year's-
not wrong. Is
Yeah,
it?
no, it's not wrong. And
Okay.
add it to their, they can pay the $750 and their 2022 dues at the same time.
Oh, okay.
So you can do it either way. Okay. Another service that we have through the state Grange is the dues billing notices. I can print those from your membership list. All I have to have is the dues that you collect for family, individual, etc. And those can be printed, and I can either mail them to the members, or I can do PDFs and send them to you, and you can email them to your members. Some have me send it by PDF and then they print them out and mail them, but it is available. And it's something that I've already got the information, and it's just as easy for me to do them as it is to have you, you know, some like to write them out and send them, and others now, like Orangevale Grange, at one time they would give a credit on the dues as to, you know, how many times they served at a breakfast or something like that. And this way they can actually hand edit them if they want to. So there's plenty of ways to make it custom for the Granges. And we can also add a short paragraph of text on them that would come from the Grange to your membership. You know, Marshall Grange wishes all of our members a really happy new year, and we're planning this, this, and this. Meeting nights are these dates. So you can add that to it as well. And if I do the mailing, they come, it's done in a windowed envelope, and it looks like it's coming from you and your Grange. So coming from your Grange secretary, and the return address goes back to your Grange secretary. And then I also send you a list of the people that were billed, and you can mark off your list which ones are, you know, have paid. And I would also send you the dues cards with them, so you can give those back. And that's their receipt for payment. So it's quite a packet that comes to the Grange secretary, but it's, and if I'm emailing them to you, then you would get that in the email. I would just have to mail you the cards.
Lillian,
Mhm.
this is Barbara
Hi,
Geiger.
Barbara.
Hi. You used to charge for that. Do they charge anything now?
The only thing, if I'm mailing them directly, the only thing I charge is the postage and maybe 15 cents for the supplies. That's it. I don't
Okay.
charge,
And
I
when,
don't,
is the deadline for signing up for that?
you can actually send me a note now that this is what you want to do.
Huh?
And I think what I might do is go ahead and set up one of the electronic forms that we use and send you the link for that. And then you can just put all the information in there, because I need to know your dues for each membership.
Right, right.
And then whatever message that you would want.
Okay, thank you.
And I will set that form up. Bill, can you set that form up for me? So nice to have him handy. It's great. So, and then you can just put that in there. We try to get those out anytime after December 1st. We try to get them out. And then there are some Granges that will call in March and go, oh my gosh, we forgot to bill our dues. So we'll help them as well. So you can start billing your dues anytime after December 1st. And like I said, I can even just do them on a PDF that you can email off to your members as well. And then some Granges, you know, we're getting into the electronic age of paying dues. Some people don't like to write a check. Some people don't even have checks anymore. So you can set up with your bank, you can set up Venmo on someone's cell phone and it will go to your bank. You can also use, I don't know if it's Zelle or Zelly, I never say it right, but that's also available. And the State Grange has a PayPal account. And if a Grange wants to use that, I can print the QR code on the dues notice itself, and then we would send that back to you. You can also establish your own PayPal account. It's however you want to do it. But we just need to start recognizing that our members want to pay electronically. And if you establish your own PayPal and you want the QR code, then I just need to know what that is so we can create the QR code. So since our membership is getting younger, we need to be younger thinking as well. And I was talking to some possible new members today, and they were talking about their teenage daughter. And they have made her keep a checkbook register. She has her own bank account, but they've made her keep a checkbook register on it because, you know, just using that electronic stuff, you get overdrawn really fast. So she's learning the hard way how to write it down, because if you don't write it down, it didn't happen. But again, we're getting to the age of people don't have checks, and they either want to use a card or they want to use Venmo, something like that. So if you need help setting any of those up, ask your younger members, because they've already done it. But if I can help in any way, I will. Okay. Any questions so far? Any thoughts? Martha?
What do other Granges do as far as dues being due and payable? Do they, we usually wait a month or two, and if they don't pay up, we drop them like a hot potato, but I don't know what, is there something we should be doing, or what do other Granges do for that?
Well, what you're supposed to do is you bill their dues, you send them a second notice if they haven't paid within the first quarter, and then you can drop them. As long as they've had 2 notices, you can drop them before the end of the quarter.
And wasn't there, I think you had said something about we have to vote on them to drop them? I think you had mentioned
Yes.
that.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
You have to vote to drop them.
So
Anytime
2
you're
notices and then vote to drop them.
right. So if I get the dues notices to you by, you know, soon after the 1st of December, it'll be the 2nd week. I'm gone the 1st week. But if I get them out to you or get them out somewhere in the 2nd or 3rd week of December, you can let me know which ones haven't paid in February. We can generate a second notice for them and get those out. And then in March, you would have that option. If they still haven't paid, you would have the option at your March meeting to vote on them.
So if we send them out ourselves, would an email be okay to do, to say second notice? Would that be appropriate, or does it have to be mail? Email's okay.
It's still in writing. Email is still
Okay.
in writing.
Okay.
And what you need to understand is whether you've dropped them or not, if you haven't notified the state Grange that you've dropped them, the state Grange still has to pay national. So if you don't make a report in March, by the time I have to have it ready for national, I have to pay on those members to national, and we don't get to subtract it later. So I'm trying to get as many Granges as I can on the same schedule to get the quarterly reports out. So the end of the quarter, first quarter is March 31st. Granges have to report to the state by April 30th, and I have to pay national by May 31st.
Oh, yeah, well, we try and get it within the first, at the latest, the first week of the next month. But
Yeah.
typically in a couple days.
Which is
Okay,
really
so we're good
helpful.
with that. Okay,
Mhm.
got it.
You know, but some Granges, they get behind, or there might be illness, or there might be something else happening. We've had secretaries just leave, and they didn't tell anybody they were moving. And then they try, you know, the other members of the Grange try to get in touch with them, and they're just gone. So, and then we're trying to scramble and, you know, help regenerate the information and the materials. So it's that continuity that we need to have. And that doesn't mean that you stay in office for 45 years. It just means that, you know, some continuity and pass it back and forth.
I don't know, I'm actually the treasurer, and this all falls on me because our secretary has been in office for that long. And he's unable to continue, but
Mhm.
nobody really has the heart after all these years to, you know, say, hey, so he comes and takes members, you know, notes when he can.
Mhm. Yeah. But it's good to have backups. It's good to have other people know what the job is and what needs to be done. And, you know, so many times there's been a secretary who's been there for so long and it's automatic for them, but something may happen and they don't pass on the knowledge. And so that's why we need to have more of these conversations as well with anybody who wants to participate and learn about it. So, and another big issue is the corporate status. And that's another question that I want to have with you. In California, we have to register as a tax exempt corporation with the Franchise Tax Board and the Secretary of State. And you also have to file your articles of incorporation. And then on the IRS side of it, with your EIN, you are typically under the group tax exemption of the California State Grange. Some Granges filed for their own tax exemption, and then others, because there was a break in the continuity, they've lost their tax exemption. So now we have to reapply and get that started all over again. And what I'm doing right now is one of my tasks is I am going through each Grange to make sure everything's been filed. And if it hasn't been, I'm getting the paperwork ready for them and sending it to them saying, sign here and send in. Because it's a learning curve to do this. Now, many years ago, about 2025, the state Grange actually did all the filings for all the subordinate Granges. If you gross under $50,000 per year, then you can do it on a postcard. It's electronic. You go in, you fill out 3 questions and you're done. Many people, because the postcard is going to the former secretary, they don't know that they're supposed to file them, and now they're going to lose their tax exemption. So that's why I'm going through and making sure. And then, of course, with the rift and the issues that have happened over the last 10 years, a lot of Granges lost theirs. Nobody was paying attention and they're gone. So we have to reestablish them. And when you lose your tax exemption in when you lose the tax exemption in a group, you can't rejoin that group. So we're actually having to get new EINs for some of these Granges that have, you know, that were an issue before. We have to get new EINs for them because they have to file under a new name. So we found out how we can do that, and then we can roll them into the state Grange group again. And to file for a group or file for your own exemption, it's around $450, depending on you know, different things, but that's the average. And we just hate to see the Granges have to pay that. So we are doing a workaround. And so far it's working. We've had some issues with the Secretary of State filing the new articles of incorporation because we've had so much go on with Grange with the Secretary of State. They're very critical of what's in there. So our state Grange attorney, Jeff Skinner has talked with their legal department. We have kind of a boilerplate now of the articles of incorporation so that it's making the system a little bit easier. And so as we get new Granges in, we are actually doing all the filings for them so that they don't have to try to go through this morass of paperwork. And that way it is more direct with Jeff and I to work them through any problems. And but they have to still be signed by the officers of that Grange before they're sent in. And you have to file an SI 100 every 2 years. And it has to be, if you were organized in an even year, you have to file in an even year. If you have a change during the odd year, you still have to file in the even year. So every time you change officers, you are supposed to file a change with the Secretary of State. And that can be, 25, I think it's $25 every 2 years now. Then there's also the Franchise Tax Board. And you're supposed to get a postcard from the Franchise Tax Board and you pay them $10 a year. If you don't pay that, they can have your whole corporate status in California revoked, and the Secretary of State does not send you a warning. They just cut you off. So one of the things that built into our membership and record management system for the Grange is we will be generating a letter every January to the Granges that are supposed to file as a reminder to make that filing. And that again is another question. Do you want the state Grange to do that for you? Or do you want to continue to do it as individual secretaries? So, there's a lot to think about there. And when you have that break in service from one secretary to another, these are some of the details that are getting lost. So what are your thoughts about that?
I need help.
Okay.
I think we all do.
Okay.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. So, Alicia?
Sorry. So if you know for a fact that your Grange is one of those ones who, has probably lost everything, is there something that we could be doing proactively to help with that? Something that we can be sending you, or things that we should start filing now? I mean, do we know where we're at?
Right. What you should probably be doing is, if you've gotten any letters from the Secretary of State or from the IRS, send those on to me, because it can be confusing going through their rules, and then I can walk you through it, or I can do it. It just kind of depends on how much help you want with it. And I'm willing to do whatever's necessary. I will get phone calls every once in a while saying, I got this letter from the Secretary of State, what do I do? I need to see the letter, because it could be this piece or it could be this piece. And, and Inger Bevins has done them quite often, and she does them to help. She's another resource to ask, but she's going to need the letters as well. But like I said, we're trying to keep everybody under that group exemption with the IRS. And so we've got a little bit of a workaround on it to make sure that happens. And if we have to change the EIN, then you may have to change your bank account, because your bank account is tied to the EIN. And so then you have to have the articles of incorporation, your bylaws, the EIN and the corporate number, and a letter from me to go get a bank account. And sometimes this can take quite a while to get this done. When Dixon Grange formed, they reorganized, and they used Dixon Grange number 19, which went out of the Secretary of State somewhere in the 70s. Well, because they reinstated those articles and that number, they ended up having to pay a back fee for all the reports that hadn't been filed for that many years. They fought it and they won, but it is a major problem. So if we need to get a new California corporate number and a new EIN, then it is sometimes much easier that way. Then it's just the bank account. Am I confusing everyone?
Scaring me.
Well, and then what they would find on the bank account, that it hadn't been updated, and there may have been, they may have added 2 signatures, but they never took off the 5 before. So it was a good way to make sure everything was up to date. So those are all the things. So we not only have the fraternal side of it, we have the corporate side.
Well, it would have been nice if the state was doing that when we reorganized, because that was a mess to put
Yes,
together.
and you did a lot of that, Jeff. And that was a mess. So, Alicia, you had a question?
Yeah, sorry, one more. Is there a way to get this like a comprehensive list of like all the different things that we should be signing up for, so we can kind of almost like a checklist, so we can just ensure that they have been? Is this somewhere?
There is a Secretary's Handbook on the website, and I'll get the link to that to you as well. And that always needs to be looked at and updated. That's like a living document. As things change, we need to update that. And I honestly haven't looked at it for a couple of years. I'm still, we're coming to the end of the legal cases, but I'm still really mired down in those. And I have a court trial in 2 weeks, and so I have to study a lot. But I wanted to have this roundtable tonight because I wanted to get a lot of us started out on the year, you know, so that we're all on the same page and we're all looking for the same thing. But if the secretaries want the state Grange to do their filings for the SI 100 or the postcard returns for state and federal, then that would have to be, you would have to give me a letter or something that says, we want you to do this for us. And it may even take a resolution saying that the California State Grange will, and that way all the delegates vote on it. But I want your thoughts about it. Is this something that has become just a big problem, or just something that gets forgotten? Or do you just want reminders from me? So,
Reminders do help.
okay. So shall we start this year with reminders, and then you can think about this and we can pick it up again next year to see what you think?
Lillian, I think that reminders would be very wise.
Okay.
I know I'm getting to the forgetful stage.
That's why I say if I don't write it down, it doesn't happen. So, and you know, with a lot of our new Granges that are coming in, helping them through this process and stepping them through it, that's why I'm realizing that everybody needs a refresher. And
yeah.
So I'm going to, I have a secretary's email list compiled now in a group. And so I will be sending you a lot more emails and reminders and getting on top of that. So
Out of curiosity, how many Granges are in the state of California?
Right now we have 98 active Granges, and we have a total of about 10 more that are coming into good standing, or we are organizing new ones. And so by the end of the year, we should have about 10 more.
Oh, that's good.
So, and we have a number that have reached out and have said, we want to come back into good standing. And if you know of any Granges that are still kind of on the fence on some things, please reach out to them. We're having good conversations, and you know, we're getting back our membership, and we're really happy about that. And yes, Elise, I saw your note in the chat, and yes, I will put you on that secretary's list. Okay. What I do try to do is keep the presidents and the secretaries in the loop, because I have noticed over time, I have noticed even when they're married, one of them doesn't know something. And so I try to make sure when we do a quarterly report, we print out a acknowledgement of it, and it gives the membership numbers that were reported and how much was paid, et cetera. And we send the single sheet to the president, and we send the full report to the Grange secretary. Now, we've been doing these by mail. Would you prefer to do them by email, or do you want that tangible piece of paper?
Doesn't matter.
I'm sorry, Sue?
I don't think it matters, just so we get it.
Okay. Okay.
I get
'Cause it would-
nothing. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, we can always print it out once you send it to us in an email.
Okay.
Yeah, email works.
Email? Okay.
Yeah.
And since we're going to be mailing the membership cards to the individual member, there's no reason to actually mail anything. So what I'm going to do is switch this over to email. And so you'll get the acknowledgement that way. And that will save Lori and I quite a bit of time, if you don't mind. So we're
No,
going to try it out with email. And if you have a problem with it, just let me know and we'll fix it. And we'll be mailing the membership card directly to the member. Okay.
Okay.
So, and Lori will say, thank you very much. Okay. So since Elise made the request to be on the secretary's list as the president, I'm going to add all the presidents in there as well. And that way everybody is on the same page and knows what needs to be done.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay. So I will make that change, no problem. And okay, so I'll be sending out the letters for the corporate SI 100s. And like I said, I'm going to go through each Grange that's currently active and make sure that everybody's up to date on all their filings. And if you're not, then we'll get that taken care of and fixed. Okay.
Question.
Yes, there's, okay, go ahead, Martha. And then I've got a question here from Kim in the chat.
Okay, I'm sorry. And I'm sorry, I've had a long day in town, but I'm just trying to remember, you send out the membership cards right after our right after our December report goes in? When do you send the membership cards out? I'm trying to remember.
Right. What we were doing is we were waiting for the fourth quarter report to come in and then send out the membership cards. So we had the most recent list. This year, because so many Granges were behind because of COVID or whatever, we ended up just sending out the cards on whatever we had. And so if you go by the third quarter, and if you've made any corrections on that third quarter, those are the cards we're going to send you. So the fourth quarter, you will get the membership cards. And that way, when you get the, if they pay at the meeting, you can give them their card or you can send it out to them however you want to as they come in. It's the new members that I'll be sending out the membership cards to directly.
The fast ones, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then Kim
I'm the
asked if there was, okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's what I'm just saying. I'm the membership chair, so I do the membership stuff, but we have a secretary who does everything else that these ladies are doing. So.
Okay. All right. And then Kim was asking if there was a way to see if a Grange had lost their franchise tax board status. There is, you can do a search on the Secretary of State website. And I'm going to share my screen and just kind of take you through it. Let's see. Hang on. Hang on. Okay. So I have a link in my favorites, but you could just go to Secretary of State, business search. And you go into the business search here, and you want to do a business search on that one. And then you'll come to this page. You can search by corporate name. So I'll just put in Marshall Grange. And here is Marshall Grange 451 and Marshall Grange 451. So, Kim, this is a good question. I have to look at this. Why is there two?
One says suspended and the other said what?
Right. The other one says active and one says suspended. And this is the one that we've been using. So what is this one? It just says suspended. Oh, it looks like they tried to register in 1950 with one thing, didn't follow through, and they did another one.
Ah.
Aha. Okay. So this is where you would see whatever the status is right here. So whatever your status is goes in there. And on this sheet, it shows active. And sometimes you have to hunt for it. You may not find it under, Marshall Grange or under another name. If you go just Grange, you will get a lot. So, so here's Adelanto Grange. It was dissolved years ago. Alisal Grange suspended because it was dissolved. There's a lot of Grange names in here from Granges that are no longer there. Here's American River, they're active. Anaheim, long time ago, is there. And so that's another way to do it, but then you have to really narrow it down. The searches are just really, so here if I wanted to do Marshall again, it comes back to Marshall, it sorts it out. So it's on this page. And do you want me to send you the link to this as well?
That would be nice.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then just put it in your favorites. And to file a statement of it, the SI 100, the corporate statement of information, this can all be done online now. So you would go to this link and it's their link, but they always make you go somewhere else. And here again, I'm just going to put in, let's see. I'm just going to put in Marshall. Kim, I'm picking on you tonight. And see, I only put in Marshall, so now I have all of this. So I'm going to go back and I'm put in Marshall Grange. And here's Marshall Grange, and I would click on this and then it will step me through how to change and update the Secretary of State SI 100. And you pay for it online as well. So there's a whole process, but I don't want to get into Kim's and mess that up. Let me see something here. And see on the guilds that are coming back, one of my jobs is to go in and, well, it's not even there. Maybe they did the name change already. There it is. Okay, we already did the name change. So when I pull into this, if I wanted to move on in this, I would check this box. What it does is it opens up And then you can put in the new president and their address, the new secretary and their address, etc. And then at the end, it will charge you a certain amount, usually $20, $25, and then you pay that fee. And they'll send you a email saying that they got it, and then they'll send an email saying, here's your copy. And then it's updated on the state website. Now, the other thing that you can look up, you can also look up your tax exempt status through the IRS. So there's a tax exemption search tool that you can use for charities and nonprofits. And in here, you would need your EIN or your name. I narrow it down by name and city and state because it's searching the entire United States. But that's another way to find out. And I'll send you that link also. Okay. Okay. Elise, you were asking about the billing form. That's actually something that we generate here. Somehow we got messed up last year with Coyote.
Yeah,
I don't know what
somehow.
happened still, but
I
what
still
I'm
don't
going
know.
to do is make sure everything goes to you. I'm going
Thanks.
to have, and that way I'll know what's gone out and where it went. Okay.
Okay, I like to see a copy of the what you use for the billing form, though. I really would. So
Let me see if I can pull it up here.
I've literally never seen that.
Okay.
If you pull it up, I'll
Let me
take a
see.
screenshot.
I only do it once a year and I'm really good at it. And then later on I go, where is that? So it's in reports. Let me notice this. Community. And
Ooh, tomorrow.
so let me share my screen here with you.
Lillian,
Yes.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to leave right now. And I
Okay.
forgot to pay you for that sweatshirt. How much was it? And I'll mail you a check.
It's $32.
Okay, thank you. I will send you a
Okay.
check.
Okay,
But
Barbara,
I
thanks.
have to leave. All right, bye.
Okay, take care. Okay, share my screen.
Mm.
So this is what a dues notice looks like.
That's it.
So,
Okay, that's pretty simple.
yeah. So it generates from the membership list. It would come up with this address unless I'm told to change it. And there it has their member number, when they joined, the type of membership. This says 0 because I don't have your dues in here.
Oh,
And
okay.
so that would be whatever the dues are for fraternal members is what would go here. And
Okay.
then the bottom part is so that they
okay.
can, cut down here. They put this in a windowed envelope that I provide them. So they get the envelope that it comes in. They also get a return envelope because it just makes it easier. If you're going to write a check, now you've got the envelope and you just put it in. and then it would go directly back to the Grange here.
Okay.
Okay. And if we don't have an email address, it says please update and, you know, put that on the back. And then hopefully you'll send that in to me. So
Okay.
that's what they look like. And this part here, in here, I don't know if you can see my cursor, but that is where you can put a message from the Grange. Dear Nathan, you know, Coyote Grange wishes you a happy new year and please join us for, and you know, you can't write a book, but you can write a nice message in there.
Okay. All right.
And these can either be printed on paper or I can print them to a PDF. And then
All
they're
right.
emailed.
Can you go up on the screen a little bit more
Yeah.
again? Okay, I see.
Yeah, so it's invoice for 2022 dues.
Great. All right, thank you.
Okay.
Mhm.
So. That's what that looks like. Any other questions, thoughts, ideas?
Not as yet.
Okay. Okay.
Well, for me, I just want to thank you for all the information. It's really helpful to me.
Thank you, Sharon. I'm glad you could join us tonight.
Yeah.
This is good. So, and Vicki, I am still working on your list. I promise I will get that back to you very soon.
Your help is invaluable because I just realized how much stuff our senior secretary may be getting that I have never seen.
Mhm.
And he hasn't handled any of this for a very, very long time.
Okay.
So your help, I'll just shoot you an email tomorrow.
Okay. That
Begging
sounds
you.
great. Okay.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Lynn?
One thing I think when we had the shuffling of secretaries that it made, it was better to have the PO box because of different changes of secretaries' addresses, which caused some confusion with our Grange.
Mhm.
So I think that if they, you know, and people know that they can mail to the PO box and they know that it'll get there, they feel more comfortable mailing their check there
Mhm.
than to a residence where mail gets maybe stolen or whatever. So
Yeah, and especially if you live out in the country where you only have a post office box.
that would work.
Right.
That would work. And then also we did try the PayPal this year. It had just started and we needed to be including a convenience fee. So we had a little discrepancy on that. But anyhow, we absorbed that for those that paid at the beginning. But then when we had our concert and they want to pay $3 for nachos or $5 hot dog, we added a 50-cent convenience fee and also at the breakfast. So there were, you know, we were not absorbing the costs of them using the card. And it's amazing for a $3 or $5 charge, they don't care because that's all they don't carry cash. They only have a card. So it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Whatever works.
True. Yeah. And one of the things that in the membership database that Bill set up, if you have a PO box, we have a, you can go in and do a mail override. So anything to that Grange would go to the PO box, even though we still have your personal addresses. So that can be set up anytime. And Sue, you had a comment or question?
I have a question. Are you anticipating that we will send in our quarterly reports online from now on?
It can be done. If you want to do it that way, you can currently submit them online now. We may discuss the way to do it by PayPal to pay the dues if you want to, but it's really easy to do them online. So it's already there.
if
sure to
we
be
don't
done.
use PayPal to pay and we want to just pay with a check, because that's all our treasurer has, and she has no computer or anything to use.
Mhm.
Is it okay to do it, like make the report online and then mail the check?
I have several Granges who do it that way. Yes.
So would you rather the paper part be online rather than a paper sent to you?
If you are comfortable with it, yes, I do. If you are not comfortable with it, I'll take it any way I get it.
Okay.
Okay. Because some, I have to remember that we have some Granges that do everything by paper, and we have other Granges that want to do everything electronic. And I have to make sure the system adjusts for everyone. And so a number of secretaries submit it electronically and say, check to follow. That's fine. Then I know that there's not supposed to be one yet. It will be following, and that's fine.
Okay.
So it's about communication. Okay. So any other questions, concerns? Anybody have a birthday we can sing to you?
No, my
Ann and I
grandson
do.
was yesterday.
Mine was Monday. Anna's next
I
week,
do.
or on
Happy
Saturday.
birthday, dear Ann.
Happy
Thank
birthday
you.
to you and many
Okay.
more.
I'm trying to remember the 4 quarterly report due dates, the dates. that they're due.
The quarter ends on March 31st. Due date is April 30th. The next one is July 31st.
No,
It's
The next
June.
one is,
June 30th.
it's June 30th is the end. They're due to me by July 31.
Okay.
And so then August, September, October. So October 31st by November 30th.
And then the first one is,
And the first one is March 31st, so it's due April 30th.
I've still only got 3.
Well, then there's December 31st, which is due January 31st.
January 31st. Okay.
The third quarter is September 30th,
Right. It
due
is
October
September.
31st.
Yes.
Yeah.
October.
Right now.
So not November 30th?
Mm-mm.
October
No, October.
31st. Okay. Okay. Thanks.
And I will actually add that as a slide on that PDF on the PowerPoint that I did. I'll put the due dates on there. Okay. Okay. Well, I want to say thank you very much for everyone being here. And I had a number of secretaries say I couldn't be on, but I'll be happy to see the recording. So I will get this posted onto our State Grange YouTube channel. Yes, we do have one. And just search YouTube for California State Grange and you'll see all of the roundtables that we've had on there as well. So if there's any other questions, you can check those out. And please send me ideas for the next roundtables. We are going to start up the regular ones every second and fourth Thursday in January. Right now, it's going to hit too many holidays and some other things. So I wanted to do this one first. Okay.
Okay, that's Thursday, second and fourth Thursday.
Second and fourth Thursday. And those will start up again in January. So I'm stockpiling ideas and, please, because this is about having conversations and sharing information. Okay. Well, again, thank you very much. And you stuck it out for an hour and a half. I appreciate your time. And we will talk again very soon. Please send me questions. And we may do another one, for secretaries again, as we get other questions and as we go through the processes, because I think that we need to share this information as much as possible.
definitely.
And I am looking for my replacement pretty soon. So yeah, I need to share as much as far and wide as possible here.
No.
You're
You're
doing
getting
such a
younger.
great
You're not
job.
getting older.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Okay. I appreciate all of you so much and how much you give to the Grange and of your time. And thank you very much for spending it with me tonight.
Thanks, Lily.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. We'll talk to you
Nice
soon.
meeting you.
Thank you.
All you. Bye.
Yes, thank you.
Bye, Jamie.